We're back, everybody.
We're back with a interesting smelling beer. That smells sweet. I don't know about this one, man. We're drinking a beer called Dummy Cup today, and it's a slushy. That's disgusting. Cleet's just literally sucking on the beer. It's a slushy collector cup series, and it's a smoothie style sour ale with sweet cherry, double pineapple, and caramel. I don't know about this one, man. How's it taste?
It has so many conflicting flavors. They hit you at different times. It definitely, yeah, it just hits you in waves. It's like, oh, there it is.
It's just like random waves of sweet.
Yeah, you can definitely taste the caramel.
Yeah, the caramel comes at the end. I get the cherry first. Thank God I don't get the pineapple because I'm not a pineapple fan. Ugh.
I think there's pineapple in there. But, you know, a lot of those Wendover beers we went and bought were very unique. Even my second beer that I have for the latter half of the podcast, it's not your atypical beer that you drink. And I didn't realize that because we kind of just bought things for logos. Because this Dummy Cup looks pretty fucking cool. But this is, I don't hate it, but it's not how I would imagine a beer to be. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's right. And I'm going to drink it tonight.
Wow. On the cuff, Dr. Seuss in it straight through to the end. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to chug this one and hope for the best, man. It's not my favorite. For tonight, we're going to jump back into our retelling of the Hidden Webpage. And Cleet, remind the audience where we left off.
Well, you know, we left off with who exactly was funding the Egypt and kind of their backstory. If you recall, it was that rich couple, the guy who married some lady who was super creepy. And yeah, we're just going to be jumping into it. I will say that we got some interesting comments on the last episode, some love, some hate. We had one gentleman on Spotify say he did not like this type of episode. And that's okay. No, I understand. You're not going to love every episode, but I'd like to know what episodes you do like. We did get some love because someone said that they went to the actual video itself and listened to it and said it was one of the best creepypasta narrations they have ever listened to. So apparently I have decent taste.
Wow. I didn't know about the comments. I haven't seen them yet. I'm behind on the ballgame here.
Yeah, and if you've listened to it, you're probably going to want to know like the theories of like what the fuck did I listen to and like what actually happened at the end. And yeah, stick to the end of the story here because we're going to be going through theories. I will also say this literally will end the entire story. So please listen to the creepypasta narration that we posted via the link in the first one and the second one, or it's honestly your loss. But anyways, Britton, I figure maybe you want to start us off.
Cool. Grab your beverage, buckle up, and let's continue the story of the Hidden Webpage. Though this is a lot to absorb, all signs point back to that cursed site, the hole, and a cult or entity around it. Nathan steels himself. If he wants this nightmare to end, he might have to confront the hole directly. I have to go in, he concludes grimly. Using the instructions from Angelica, he navigates to the archived web ring page with the hidden dot. Hard in his throat, he clicks it. Immediately, it's as if the atmosphere changes. A bland page loads. White background, maybe an under construction GIF. Otherwise, empty. But the emptiness feels oppressive, alive. Nathan's vision swims. He suddenly feels like there's something behind him. Though he's alone, he resists the primal urge to run. Just then, a phone call jolts him. It's his neighbor alerting him. One of the bee-costumed men is standing in Nathan's front yard, staring at his house under the streetlight. Nathan peeks out to see the silhouette of a man in a bee suit, face lost in shadow, head cocked as though looking straight at Nathan's window. The neighbor urges him to call the police, but as soon as Nathan hangs up, the bee man calmly walks into the dark woods and disappears. The threat recedes, but Nathan's nerves are frayed. and more surprises await. On his phone, an email notification pops up from Ben, or rather from Ben's account, but with no text, just an attachment, a video. He plays it. On the video, Ben appears, looking disheveled and frightened. "I went into hiding," Ben confesses, his voice shaking. After what he found in the basement, things got weird. Strangers knocked on his door at 3 a.m. and stood silently laughing after he refused to let them in. He got calls with nothing but a man growling like a dog and whispering words like, "Why?" and "abracadabra" in a snarling tone. The same nonsense phrase Nathan's mom recalled from his modem. Ben even fears that he's been having blackouts or fits, where he does things that he can't remember. "Whatever you got me into, it's bad juju, like KGB, Illuminati bad," he says, forcing a strained chuckle. On the video, Ben then turns his camera to show a monitor. It looks like he's back at the basement server room. Nathan recognizes the dusty surroundings. The monitor shows an updating still frame feed. It's the live webcam again. But this time, instead of showing the outside of Nathan's house, it's cycling through images inside Nathan's home. First frame, Nathan's kitchen. Next, his hallway. Then the door to his home office. Next, the door slightly ajar. The door fully open. Next is a view entering his home office. Next, a frame of Nathan sitting at his computer at this very moment. I'd shit myself. Straight up, shit in my pants.
I'd look behind me. I'd be like,
I mean, obviously. Turn around and flip it off. What's up, buddy? Nathan stares at the video timestamp. It's dated tomorrow. A chill, tighter than any before, grips him. It could be a timestamp error, of course, or it could mean something, or someone, is literally showing him the immediate future. In the video, Nathan watches himself on that feed slowly turn around, as if sensing a presence behind him. The feed cuts off. In real time, Nathan spins in his chair, knife in hand, but of course, nobody's there right now. The next part of Ben's video message cuts in. "I traced the link to the hole. I got a specific address. It's a duplex apartment. Your old home address." Nathan's jaw drops. The hole's server is linked to the very building where he grew up. The one now abandoned with the rest of that complex. Everything circles back to that physical location. He knows what he must do. Gathering his courage and some gear for self-defense, he sets out on a 4-hour drive to his desolate childhood home. It's deep night when Nathan arrives at the deserted duplex block. The air itself is heavy with dread. He sneaks into his old unit through a window, like he did as a forgetful kid who lost his keys. The interior is dark, stale. Suddenly, music starts playing from upstairs, a distorted oldies tune warping through the silence. Someone knows he's here. Nathan's heart pounds, but he forces himself up the stairs toward his former bedroom. The song grows clearer. "Early in the Morning" by Vanity Fair, an upbeat 60s track eerily out of place in this gloom. At the top, he finds a cheap radio placed right outside his old room, looping the song over and over. He shuts it off. The silence that falls is worse, broken only by a faint buzzing sound from beyond the closed door, like a distant beehive hum. Nathan notices something that nearly makes him drop his flashlight. On the door is still fixed his childhood name placard, untouched by time. With a trembling hand, he nudges the door open. What he sees inside defies belief. It's his teenage bedroom, recreated perfectly, as if someone took a photograph of it in 1999 and rebuilt it from scratch. The glow-in-the-dark plastic stars on the ceiling, his X-Files and Fangoria posters on the walls, the string of novelty Halloween lights around the desk. Even his ratty Mr. T pillow sits on the bed. Yet, small details are wrong, off by a shade or a letter, like a funhouse mirror version. For example, one poster lists an actor's name incorrectly, Tiny Lister instead of Tony Todd on a Candyman poster. These errors are deeply unsettling, as if whoever did this had to guess or approximate reality and didn't fully succeed. The overall effect is profoundly uncanny. A childhood memory brought to life and then corrupted. Nathan's eyes finally land on the computer, a bulky CRT monitor humming with that insectile buzz, and it's on. Whoever set this up left the PC running. Swallowing his fear, Nathan sits at the old desk. The monitor flickers to life, revealing a Windows 98 desktop, exactly as he last saw it decades ago. The same icons, same folders, a snapshot of his digital life back in '99. It's like time travel. Nothing appears out of place at first, until his eyes drift to the bottom corner of the screen. There, almost off the edge, is an icon he never had, a folder titled Milk and Honey. The biblical reference to the Promised Land doesn't escape him. Summoning the courage, Nathan double-clicks it. Instantly, the screen goes black and a terminal window opens. A telnet connection. Lines of ASC2 text load, forming the image of a crude mountain. He waits. Nothing but the blinking cursor against the mountain ASC2 art. The humming of the PC and the faint electrical buzz in the air press on his ears. Nathan feels dread coiling in his stomach. He senses that something is here with him, something unseen. Perhaps the same presence Milky described that got in his head. Suddenly, Nathan's cell phone rings, startling him badly in the quiet. It's Detective Therault. The detective's tone is urgent, almost panicked. "Are you alone? Where are you? You need to get out now." Calmly and quickly.
Nathan's blood runs cold. Therault explains that he followed up on Angelica, the woman he had put Nathan in touch with 2 weeks ago. It turns out that wasn't the real Angelica at all, but an imposter who somehow fooled the police. The house where Nathan's call with Angelica took place was vacant, between renters, essentially a stage set. They found a written script there outlining exactly what the fake Angelica was to tell Nathan. In other words, the Holes agents played the police and Nathan both, spitting lies within lies. And worse, the detective says Angelica's family provided more info. The fake had a trove of creepy items related to Nathan, printouts of all his messages since the 90s, candid photos of him, including sleeping ones, even a map of his hometown and a doll. It's clear Nathan has been targeted and observed for years. Therault's voice is firm. "There's more, but I'll tell you when you're safe. Get out of there, now." Heart thundering, Nathan stands to leave, but as he does, the telnet screen on the computer finally changes. A question appears in plain text. "Are you alone?" Nathan's breath catches. With the detective still on the line, he asks warily, "Is that you on the screen?" But Therault has hung up, likely to avoid spooking whoever might be near Nathan. Nathan suspects the computer itself is asking. In a mix of defiance and curiosity, he types back, "I believe I am alone." Instantly, an automated voice crackles from the computer speakers. It's distorted, as if echoing through a long tunnel or from behind static. The words are slow, deliberate. "This message is a warning. Transmitted by dilations. After 2100, breaking this device, shut it all down. Get out. Save yourself." The phrase repeats on a loop, a garbled, urgent mantra. Nathan hastily records it all on his phone, even as fear seizes him. Dilatans is a term from physics, particles associated with gravity distortions. The message sounds like it's trying to cut through some interference of time or dimension. Could it be from someone trapped in the hole? Perhaps even from a future version of himself? It's too much to ponder. He yanks the computer's power and disconnects it, silencing the voice. Steeling himself, Nathan prepares to leave per the detective's warning, but as he turns to the door, his flashlight catches something that makes his stomach flip. From under the bed, behind him, long strands of dark hair are splayed across the floor. Someone is under there. For an awful moment, he freezes, thinking maybe it's a forgotten doll or mop, until he realizes he's also seeing a single eye, open and unblinking, staring straight at him from the shadows under the bed. He had been in this room for minutes with that person or thing just inches away, silently watching. Nathan's composure shatters. He screams and bolts. In blind panic, he bounds down the stairs and out of the house, nearly twisting his ankles as he vaults through the door he entered. He doesn't stop running until he's outside, lungs burning in the cold night air. Nathan doesn't know who or what was under the bed with the flowing hair. He doesn't want to know. It was enough to see that single, inhumanely patient eye watching him. The detective meets him shortly after, responding to his distress calls. By that time, they sweep the old house. Of course, it's empty, but the evidence of wrongdoing is clear. Inside the bedroom, closet-turned-server room, they find piles of floppy disks and human bones behind a false wall. The word "the hole" is graffitied on the inner wall. It appears Nathan discovered a dumping ground of sorts, perhaps the remains of those who ascended or who were consumed by the thing in 1999. The bones will be forensics jobs now. The Ralt ushers Nathan out, promising they have a lot to discuss. As Nathan catches his breath, he realizes one last place still holds power over him: the Egypt Internet Cafe itself. The detectives' team will likely head there next, but Nathan feels compelled to face it personally to close that chapter. Despite his exhaustion and trauma, he drives to the old strip mall by the post office where the Egypt still stands dark and decrepit. Dawn is just starting to break. The front glass door is already cracked open, likely by vagrants or vandals before. He steps inside. To his surprise, all the computers are humming. Their monitors glow in the dim. It's like stepping back in time. The guest sign-in sheet still on the counter, candy wrappers from decades ago on the floor. The place is deserted, or so it seems. As he ventures further in, a chorus of low voices rises, echoing from the walls. Not physical voices in the room, but recordings playing from various computer speakers. The effect is like disembodied ghosts having a conversation. Nathan's own voice drifts from one machine. A playback of his recent phone call with Angelica, where she describes being impersonated. On another monitor, he sees the familiar layout of his old Fortune City homepage, the one that shouldn't exist, complete with all his teenage ramblings and animated conspiracy gifs. It's broadcasting some conversation too, perhaps forum chats he had with Rap. Across the room, another screen flickers to life, a video feed of a middle-aged couple and a little girl peering into a camera. The woman's voice crackles, "It chose you," while the man beside her shakes his head, eyes wide and frightened. The little girl, could it be Connie's orphanage eyes or someone else's child, just stares. Nathan feels a surge of terror. It's as if all the evidence of this entity meddling is on display for him. The phrase, "It chose you," reverberates in his mind. Why him? Is it because he stumbled in as a kid, or something deeper? Before he can think further, music blares again. Another Vanity Fair tune, this time Hitchin' a Ride. The same band as early in the morning, another song about leaving home. The realization hits. He just walked into a trap. The door behind him creaks. Nathan spins around to see people filing in through the broken entrance. Many people. They come silently. The well-dressed woman with long black hair, Connie, she looks so familiar to the niece's description. An older businessman, a scruffy homeless-looking guy, and more behind them. A motley assortment, all with the same blank, emotionless expressions. They move with slow determination, encircling Nathan. He backs away, speaking nervously. "Hello? Can I help you?" There is no response. Their eyes barely seem to register him as a person. It's as if they are sleepwalking or puppets on strings. Nathan's fight or flight kicks in. He darts to a single-stall restroom in the back and slams the door, locking it with a flimsy bolt. Immediately, a heavy breathing begins just outside the door. Dozens of lungs inhaling and exhaling in unison.
It's a horribly intimate, predatory sound, like wolves sniffing at the cracks. Then, slowly, something wet and pink curls under the door. A human tongue sliding across the floor, feeling around. What the fuck? Nathan stumbles back in revulsion as more tongues start to slither under the doorframe, licking at the air as if tasting his scent. The heavy breathing intensifies. He fights the urge to scream. In a panic, Nathan recalls the odd Usenet messages. When you were in the bathroom, did you try knocking on the wall? Someone knocks back. Maybe, just maybe, that anecdote was a lifeline. He raps on the wall tiles, listening for a hollow spot. Yes, one section echoes differently. Summoning adrenaline, he starts kicking the drywall with all of his might. After a few blows, the plaster crumbles, opening a man-sized hole into a dark crawl space. Nathan hastily wriggles through, tearing his clothes on broken gypsum. Inside the wall, it's a hidden cavity about 2 feet deep, stretching along the length of the building. His phone's flashlight reveals he's not the first to hide here. It's filled with dozens more floppy disks and piles of bones. Likely the same grim cache the police later documented. On the interior side of the broken wall, painted above the hole he crawled through, is that phrase again. The hole. Nathan crouches among the remains, choking back his terror. The breathy sound at the bathroom door abruptly stops. A dreadful silence. Then, crash. The door splinters open. Nathan clasps a hand over his own mouth, trying not to whimper. Flashlight off, pitch black. He hears several sets of footsteps enter the small bathroom, but they don't search further. They just stand there, breathing. Nathan senses them just beyond the opening. A minute passes. 2. Then, unexpectedly, bright light floods the bathroom. A loud, commanding voice shouts, "Police!" Detective Thralt bursts in, gun drawn, only to find nothing. The thralls are gone, as if they melted away when real authority arrived. He quickly discovers Nathan huddled behind the wall and helps him out of the grisly hiding place. Nathan is shaking, but alive. On the ride back to safety, Nathan learns that the intruders vanished without a trace when the detectives team arrived, and curiously, all the computer equipment in the Egypt disappeared with them. The only things remaining were exactly what Nathan found hidden: bones and floppies, physical evidence of something horrible. The detective is perplexed and concerned. Clearly, a group of people, a cult perhaps, had been stalking Nathan, but the case is far from ordinary. Nathan returns home, traumatized yet strangely relieved. It feels like he's confronted the heart of the nightmare and survived. Days pass with no new incidents. He even finds himself cherishing normal things: the taste of a simple meal, the hum of daylight. Police investigations are underway, though Nathan doubts they'll ever fully explain what happened. Then, just as he's beginning to breathe easier, an email arrives with the subject line, "Please look." It's from an unfamiliar numeric address, but the link inside is to a secure page on the Gulf University site, which is Ben's domain. Trusting that it might be Ben reaching out, Nathan clicks. It's that webcam interface again. He sees the front of his house, a static view. Nothing seems out of place until one frame refreshes and shows the trunk of his car wide open in the driveway. Next frame, a figure is half emerged from the trunk. The figure stands beside his car. Nathan squints. It looks like a man in a dark outfit, but the image is very grainy. Next, refresh, the man is gone, presumably walking toward Nathan's front door. Nathan's blood runs cold. Is this live? He rushes to his door and peeks through the peephole. Nobody outside. He glances back at the feed. It shows the person should be right at his door now. He looks again through the peephole, and it's blocked by an eye. Someone's eye is pressed against the peephole from the outside, glaring in with hate. Nathan staggers back. The knob rattles. The door, which he swore was deadbolted, swings open. In strides a man with a blurred, almost featureless face. Or maybe Nathan's vision blurs at that moment. The intruder holds some kind of weapon. Crowbar, piece of metal maybe. Nathan retreats, but the man doesn't strike. In a flat, mechanical voice that sounds distant, he asks, "Why did you leave?" Nathan has no answer. The man forces him into the office at weapon point. The computer is on. Nathan's presumably been leaving it on as part of police monitoring. The intruder barks a command. He must go to the hole. Hands trembling, Nathan has no choice. Under the cold gaze of the stranger, he navigates to the archived site and clicks the hidden dot. The blank page loads, and something happens almost immediately. Nathan's reality lurches. His head swims. He feels like fingers are crawling inside of his brain. In a blink, the intruder is gone. But Nathan isn't alone. The office looks the same, yet different, like he's seeing multiple layers of reality all at once. He tries calling 911 on his phone, which somehow is still connected. The operator answers, but the conversation is bizarre. Nathan hears himself babbling. I taught a putty tat. Nonsense about seeing a cartoon canary. And the operator responds in a chilling monotone. That's the captain. He's a jackal. And he's not happy with you. It's as if the emergency line has been hijacked by the hole's logic. Nathan drops the phone, utterly disoriented. Suddenly, he's not in his house anymore. He finds himself in a cheap motel room, the same one from his hometown where he'd planned to meet the detective after the Egypt incident. Ben is there, along with a gaunt man Nathan eventually realizes is Milky, the long-lost engineer. They calm Nathan down, explaining that they pulled him out. They rescued him from the house just in time, apparently. Nathan's not sure what's real, but he listens. Milky shares his story. After he clicked the whole link years ago, his life became exactly as Nathan has seen. Lost time, impossible encounters. Even speaking to dead relatives on the phone before remembering they were dead. Oh, cleats cracking open beer numero dos.
Going for seconds, this one is the Mexican Spotted Owl. It's an imperial stout with lactose, vanilla, coca nibs, cinnamon, and chili.
Chili, huh? Your face says it all, my friend. Your face says it all. Can you taste the chili?
Anyways, that was bad. All right. Milky confirms the presence of the hole, manipulates reality and perception. He references that old Soviet forum member who warned them, the hole is like the anti-net, an accidental dark mirror created by the connecting of computers. Just because it's empty space doesn't mean there's nothing in it, the man had said. Indeed, something lives in that emptiness, a predator born from humankind's networks, or maybe something that always existed and now found a door into our world. Milky was obsessed with figuring it out and nearly lost his mind. Ben chimes in with his theory. The hidden webpage likely emits some kind of electromagnetic pattern that interfaces with human brains, hacking people like computers. It's not even intentional or evil with a grand plan, he suggests. It just is a byproduct of the internet's growth, introducing chaos and hallucinations wherever it touches. It turned people into unwitting cultists trying to share it, like Bernard and Connie or Reggie's account. Created manifestations, the captain, the dog, the bees, to scare and herd victims, and blurred the lines between reality and cyberspace. Nathan's head spins, but one thing he needs to know: why me? Before anyone can answer, he recalls the 911 operator's strange message about the captain and asks, "Who's the captain?" That sends a visible chill through Milky. Eyes wet, he whispers, "Captain Meat, from the hole. It looks kinda like a dog." Nathan flashes back to Angelica's story of the dog at the Egypt, to the growling phone calls Ben got, to the presence he felt trailing him. Captain Meat, the jackal, the dog, likely an embodiment or enforcer of the hole's will, an entity that can cross over and harass people, a digital demon wearing the shape of a dog-headed man, like Anubis, the Egypt motif, often heralded by the phrase abracadabra and the 60s music. The pieces coalesce into a terrifying picture of a networked eldritch being. As they talk, Ben mentions that text Nathan received with the webcam link that saved him at home. Neither he nor Milky sent that. Someone else did. Presumably another ally from within, or another version of Nathan trying to warn him. On cue, they check the webcam feed again. It shows Nathan's car trunk still open, back home. In one frame, a figure is faintly visible inside the trunk, staring right at the camera. It's too grainy to identify, but the idea that someone was hiding in his trunk while he drove, possibly when he blacked out, makes Nathan shudder. They turn the feed off, unsettled. The trio decides to lay low at Nathan's mom's house for a while. His mom is surprisingly understanding, just relieved he's okay, though the detective privately confided some wild news to her. Apparently, the bones found in the Egypt bathrooms match Nathan's dental records, implying one version of him died there in 1999. Thoralt even warned her, "I don't know who that man is, but he's not your son." It's an impossible report that Nathan doesn't want to think about. Are there two of him? Did part of him never leave the hole? Late one night at his mom's, Nathan wakes to find Milky behaving strangely again, whispering into an electrical outlet as if it were whispering back. Moments later, Nathan sees Milky standing outside the porch too, muttering about the constellations, even though Milky was just inside. It's as if he can bilocate, or Nathan is hallucinating. It's hard to tell what is real. Things are fraying at the edges once more. Nathan turns on the TV to distract himself. A rerun of Seinfeld plays, an episode about a creepy doll. Unsettled, he flips channels, and the guide says The Ninth Gate, a favorite horror film of his, and it should be on. But instead, the TV shows The Ten Commandments. Close, but not quite right, as if reality is slightly misaligned by one digit. This clue, 9 verse 10, reminds him of Holy Moses, as in biblical Moses on TV. He never did confront Holy Moses directly. Summoning his last resolve, Nathan fires up his mom's old XP computer and logs back into IRC. Holy Moses' bot presence is indeed online, idle in an empty channel called #H1N1. Another clue, H1N1 is a flu, an infection theme. Before he can message it, an email pops up from Thoralt with an attachment about the skeletal remains. Against better judgment, Nathan reads it. It confirms the bones are his. The detective writes, "He is not your son." Nathan's vision swims. Is he a copy? A clone? Did he die and somehow continue on? He decides that the whole has warped reality so much that even death isn't straightforward. Refocusing, he returns to IRC and finally sends a private message to Holy Moses. "Who are you?" No reply. Another ping from that mysterious user, U4284U, instead. "Do you know where your mother is? Are you sure she's okay? Nathan ignores the taunts and messages. Holy Moses again. Do you know what's going on? Silence. Fine then. He tries one more thing Angelica mentioned. He sends Holy Moses the single letter M. At once, Holy Moses responds, not in text, but by sending a file transfer. Nathan accepts. It's a video file titled freedom.mov. While it downloads remarkably fast, what took days in 1999 transfers in minutes now. A series of bizarre events erupt. Melky suddenly appears inside, staring at Nathan, while simultaneously Ben crawls out of the kitchen pantry, as if he's just been hiding there, and just stands, watching. Then Nathan's mother comes in from outside to join them. All three line up just feet away, silently watching Nathan with blank eyes. It's a deeply frightening tableau, like body snatchers wearing his loved one's skin. The tensions build unbearably. They don't move or speak, just stare. Nathan notices a drip, on the floor. Fat black beetles are dropping from Milky's sleeve, crawling out from it inside his clothing. Something is grotesquely wrong with them. Nathan realizes with a start, this isn't Ben, Milky, or Mom. Not really. These are avatars of the hole's entities playing tricks, perhaps Captain Meat or others wearing their faces. Nathan keeps his cool as best he can. The video file has finished downloading very slowly. Maintaining eye contact with the silent trio, Nathan attaches a USB drive to the computer and copies the freedom.mov file to his phone. His heart is thudding as he does so, expecting at any second for them to lunge. They merely stare. Insects pattering on the floor from Milky. The moment the transfer is complete, Nathan grabs his phone and darts to the bathroom, locking himself in. Immediately, footsteps shuffle to the door and stop. He knows they're right outside. He doesn't dare make a sound. Instead, he turns on the shower to mask the noise and play the video on his phone. The footage is poor quality, as if recorded on a damaged webcam. It shows a haggard older man. He looks almost like an older Nathan, delivering a message. The audio is distorted, with screams echoing faintly in the background. "I've been trying to warn you," the man says. The dilation distortions from the hole lets me send messages in brief windows. You're hearing this. You are in the hole and have been for a while. Other things are in here too. They don't want you to leave. You need to get out before it's too late. I know, because I'm you. The man's last words before the video cuts out. The birds and the bees.
Birds and bees, the very motifs that have haunted him. The alt-rec birdwatch group, the bee men. It's confirmation. Nathan truly might still be trapped in some layer of the hole, and this video is a warning from an older version of himself, or a timeline where he never escaped. Nathan's resolve hardens. He has to break free, now. He can't trust anything or anyone around him. The trio outside the door has gone eerily quiet. He peeks out of the bathroom window and gasps as his mother's face is pressed against the glass from outside, eyes vacant, blocking his exit. No way out there. He steels himself and unlocks the bathroom door. The hallway is empty. They're vanished again. Not wasting a second, Nathan bolts through the house and out the front door. Dawn light is breaking. He sprints towards his car when he hears pounding footsteps behind. It's Ben, or the thing wearing Ben, charging at him with a rage contorting his features. "Stop hurting me," the not Ben screams bizarrely, as if Nathan is somehow attacking him. Nathan dives into his car and hits the gas, leaving Ben shouting and hammering the windows, beetles flying off of him. Nathan doesn't stop until he's back at his own home in broad daylight. He enters his house cautiously. It's silent. Everything appears normal, maybe too normal. Staged, perhaps. The air feels thick with menace again. He grabs a large kitchen knife for protection. He turns on all the lights and steps into the living room and finds two men in bee costumes sitting on his exercise treadmill, completely still. They seem almost like mannequins, heads drooped, facing the floor, motionless. Nathan grips the knife and demands, voice cracking, "What do you want from me?" The B-men stand up in unison. They don't approach him, however. Instead, they both slowly turn their heads toward the hallway leading to Nathan's home office, as if indicating something down there. Nathan hears it too, faintly. That damned song early in the morning starts playing from his office computer, echoing down the hall. The B-men take that as their cue and walk past Nathan calmly, exiting out the front door which stands ajar behind him. As they leave, Nathan hears a low canine growl from somewhere in the house, as if some beast just missed its chance at him. He realizes with a surge of intuition that the only way out is through. He has to confront the hole's core on its own terms. Knife in hand, heart pounding, Nathan steps toward his office. The upbeat bass of early in the morning pulses unnaturally, slow now, warping as he gets closer. He follows the B-men across the road and into the woods behind his neighbor's house, as if in a trance. The sky above is unnervingly devoid of birds or insect noise, the world in the grip of dawn stillness. But as he plunges deeper among the trees following the silhouettes of the two bees, he begins to hear birds, a rising cacophony of chirping, growing louder with each step. Soon it's deafening, a wall of avian screeching overhead as if every bird in the world is perched above screaming a warning. Then he hears heavy mechanical sounds, an elevator, and sees a structure ahead. In a hidden clearing stands some kind of machine or entrance. The B-men walk straight into it, beckoning without beckoning. Nathan takes a deep breath and crosses the threshold. The next thing Nathan knows, he is blinking awake, slumped over the keyboard in his home office. Sunlight streams through the window. Outside, birds are chirping normally, dozens of them, a pleasant, natural chorus. He jolts upright, gasping. What just happened? His computer is at the desktop screen, idle. A new email notification is open from the Globetrotter Angelica account.
Pretty intense, huh? You can spend the rest of your life in there.
The words send a final shiver through Nathan, the entity essentially taunting him. Did he escape? Is this reality? Everything seems normal now. His house is undisturbed, the knife back in its drawer. Even his old 1997 PC is neatly packed away in its box as if never used. There's no sign of intruders or weirdness. When he calls his mother, she's fine and recalls nothing of the previous bizarre night. The only proof that any of it happened is on his phone. Freedom.mov is still there, but now it's utterly corrupted. 2 entire minutes of garbled audio and visual static with nothing discernible. In the weeks that follow, Nathan tries to recalibrate to normal life. No more emails or visions come. It's as if the hole and its denizens finally released him, or moved on to some other corner of the net. He considers the possibility that he had a massive psychotic break under stress, or was simply gaslighted by a highly elaborate cult prank. Or it was all real, and the internet truly does hide a cyber hell that nearly claimed him. Nathan is sipping a banana smoothie in his kitchen, heading to work like nothing happened, trying to convince himself it's truly over. Yet at night, as he lies in bed, the doubt starts to creep in. He can't help but ask the darkness of his room, "Am I still inside?" And an even more unsettling thought. If I were still trapped inside the hole, would I even know the difference?
That's the end of the story, folks. Pretty crazy. Huh?
Dun,
Did you say it?
dun. That was pretty
What?
good.
The fuck.
Hopefully it's your cup of tea. But like Cleet said at the beginning, like if it's not, like let us know what about it you didn't like, but also more importantly, let us know what you do like, so we can continue to do that and kind of pivot. Because we're always looking for new content and creepy stuff, right?
The saga of the Hidden Webpage is dense and mind-bending, leaving us with as many questions as answers. Now that we've retold the unnerving events, let's step back and dissect what this creepypasta might mean. What exactly is the whole? Who or what is behind the Hidden Webpage? How do fans interpret this twisting tale? In true internet fashion, a variety of theories have surfaced, blending technology, folklore, and creative speculation. The first one is an eldritch internet horror, the anti-net theory. One prevailing interpretation is that the whole represents an eldritch digital phenomenon, essentially a malevolent or alien presence that emerged from the internet itself. In the story, characters like Milky and the Soviet hacker speak of the anti-net, an empty negative space formed by all our network connections. Imagine the internet as a massive web of electrons and data. Between the nodes, in the gaps where nothing should be, something grew. This aligns with the cosmic horror themes. Humanity inadvertently created a gateway for an unknown force. The Soviet hacker's chilling warning sums it up. Just because it's empty space doesn't mean there's nothing in it. This paints the whole as an accidental portal to an eldritch dimension, a cyberspace pocket universe teeming with something like demons or eldritch abominations. Within this interpretation, entities like Holy Moses and Captain Meat could be avatars or faces of that force. Holy Moses might be the whole's attempt to communicate/lure via IRC, presenting as a helpful friend to susceptible kids, whereas Captain Meat, described as Jackal-like, a dog that talks in static. It's like the enforcer or gatekeeper inside the whole. Fans on the discussion forums note the strong Lovecraftian vibe, the idea of knowledge that drives one mad, the omnipresent evil in the wires, and humans being reduced to pawns or prey. The forum scene where the secure Linux box is destroyed and shows a dead loved one's photo really underscores a supernatural intelligence at play, not just a virus. It reads the victim's minds/fears and manifests them, behaving more like a demon or a malicious spirit than mere malware. In a way, the Hidden Webpage could be seen as a modern analog to an SCP Foundation entry, Secure, Contain, Protect. One could imagine this story rewritten as an SCP document, an anonymous website, SCP-XXX, which induces reality warping and cognitive hazards, with agents in beat costumes and an entity designated Captain Meat, Keter class threat, lurking in the code. It fits that universe's flavor, where technology and the paranormal intersect. The detailed pseudo-technical explanation Ben offers, electromagnetic emissions affecting brainwaves, is very SCP-like in giving a pseudo-scientific rationale to fantastical events. It grounds the horror in something that sounds almost plausible. Fringe science theories about resonant frequencies or microwave auditory effects, making the impossible seem just a hair's breadth away from reality.
The second theory talks about allegory of internet addiction and escapism. Not all theories require literal monsters. Some readers interpret the Hidden Webpage more symbolically, as an allegory for the dangers of internet addiction, online life, and losing oneself in escapism. The whole in this view is a metaphor for how you can get so absorbed in the digital world that it effectively steals years of your life. Recall the recurring line,
You can spend the rest of your life in there.
It's repeated by the entity to multiple characters. One discussion on Reddit even argued it's an allegory for your own lives. A warning not to spend too much time on social media, the internet, or any other addiction, because you can spend your whole life there, never really making a life for yourself. The demon and evil are really addictions. In this reading, Nathan and the others are already trapped, not in a supernatural sense, but in a cycle of obsession. The internet cafe, the Egypt where kids lose time, could represent any toxic environment that preys on vulnerable youth, almost cult-like. The fact that in the end Nathan isn't sure if he escaped could symbolize how one never truly knows if they're free of addiction or if they're simply fooling themselves. The story cleverly uses horror to externalize these dangers. The evil shows them comforting illusions, like lost loved ones or success on a homepage, to keep them hooked, much as an endless feed or virtual reality might. Angelica's fate, for instance, can be seen as someone who almost got groomed in an online cult addiction but escaped, hitting N instead of M, basically saying no at the final moment. Nathan, however, was hooked deeply and had to fight to reclaim reality. The line, "What difference would it make?" is a good example. It resonates as a comment on how, if someone's entire life is online or an artificial high, being physically out or not doesn't matter. They're effectively living in that hole. This theory doesn't contradict the literal events. The story works as both literal horror and metaphor, but it does give them a relatable weight. The bees and birds imagery even tie in. The birds and the bees is an idiom about explaining life's realities. Here inverted, it's explaining an unreal life.
Another theory is the ARG and internet folklore connections. From a genre standpoint, the Hidden Webpage is interesting because it blurs the lines with ARGs and general internet folklore. While the story itself is fiction, it's structured like an ARG. Clues spread across mediums: emails, ICQ, Gopher, newsgroup, real-world locations, requiring puzzle solving. Listeners have noted how it felt like they could follow the clues too. For example, the mention of alt.rec.birdwatch or the Wayback Machine .trick. Some actually checked if those things exist. If the author had hidden real web Easter eggs, it would have gone full ARG. The layered reveal of the plot through documents, niece's emails, forum posts, phone menu codes, engages the audience like a mystery to be solved, not just a straightforward narrative. This has led to some to wonder if Jared Roberts, the author, was influenced by ARGs or creepypastas / no-sleep tales that had interactive elements. It certainly taps into the vibe, making the horror feel more immersive and personal, as you, too, might stumble on a weird tiny URL or receive blank emails if you dig too deep. It also pays homage to the classic internet urban legends, the notion of a cursed web page or haunted program. Its ascendance, the legend of Polybius, an arcade game that supposedly caused hallucinations, often citing the gaming lore, comes to mind. The Hidden Webpage carries that torch into the Web 1.0 era, a site said to cause madness with conspiracy overtones. It also parallels creepypastas like Psychosis and Candle Cove. The story even nods to real cultish tragedies. The Heaven Gates cult is mentioned on Nathan's resurrected homepage. And of course, the SCP Foundation analogy we made fits here too. The story reads like a found footage SCP case file at times, with first-person perspective. Internet horror often blurs these lines, and the Hidden Webpage stands at the intersection of ARG, creepypasta, and urban legend. It's folklore for the digital age, where instead of a haunted house, we have haunted websites. Instead of haunted monsters, we have code demons. One essay on creepypasta culture noted that with such viral horror stories, the internet is mapping the contours of modern fear, basically turning our nebulous fear of technology and the unknown into shareable legends. The Hidden Webpage is a great example of that. It externalizes fear of what lurks behind our screen, what we invite into our homes each time we connect, and like the best folklore, it leaves enough unexplained that people continue speculating and spinning theories in Reddit threads and YouTube comments.
The next theory is the multiverse or ARG endpoint theory. One fascinating, if not heady, interpretation from fans is that the story literally involves multiple timelines or realities, a multiverse angle. Evidence would be Nathan's dental records matching a skeleton in the Egypt, implying one version of him died in 1999. Yet another lives on. The video from future Nathan saying, "I'm you, you're in the hole," suggests that in one branch, Nathan never escaped and aged inside the hole's illusion, while another branched off that did escape. This is almost sci-fi. The hole might create divergent outcomes, like saving state in a game and loading a different timeline, When Nathan clicked the dot at the end under duress, maybe he merged or swapped with the real timeline. Thus, the ending could be interpreted as Nathan being dumped into a reality where he survived and everything just simply reset to normal, while some echo of him remains trapped, hence the lingering question of what's real. This theory veers into brain-bending territory, but it's supportive of the story's motif of mirrored and doubled events and people. It also aligns with ARG-like complexity. An ARG might have had players uncovering that the protagonist is an unreliable narrator across timelines. There's even a line in the Reddit discussion hypothesizing that the narrator might still be in the hole in the end, and only thinks that he's free. The story deliberately doesn't confirm or deny, leaving us in that unsettling limbo, which is brilliant for horror, if a bit frustrating for those who like tidy endings. In broader terms, this multiverse idea ties back to the earlier theories. Whether it's a demon or a weird physics glitch, the result is that reality is bent and fragmented. The whole could be less a place and more of a state of being, a sort of Schrodinger's simulation, where Nathan is both out and in until observed. As trippy as that sounds, it's the kind of discussion that this story sparks, showing how richly it was constructed.
All right, the last one is real-life parallels and inspirations. A final note and analysis. The story settings in the late 90s internet culture is incredibly authentic and likely nostalgic to many readers. The author, Jer Roberts, peppered it with real touchstones: ICQ, Netscape, dial-up tones, Usenet, Angel Fire, etc. This lends a realism that makes the horror hit harder. There is a creepiness in the obsolete technology aspect. Many of those services, like Gopher sites and Telenet or GeoCities, feel like ghosts of the internet, abandoned places that did exist and could conceivably host a phantom. It taps into the concept of lost media and forgotten corners online. The idea that something like the Hole could hide on an old archive page or dormant server under the university is uncanny yet believable. It reminds us of the early internet urban legends like the Grifter, video or user 666 on YouTube, spooky content that supposedly appears if you do the right secret clicks. Even the name The Egypt for the cafe evokes a mystery, and Connie's creepy behavior, hiding under the beds, knitting unusable items, mirrors classic witch/ghost imagery, rooting the high-tech horror in an age-old supernatural tropes. All these details enrich the narrative and invite comparisons to real-world strangeness. Did the Y2K paranoia birth any actual odd occurrences? Probably not like this, but the story cleverly weaves that fear in. It stands as a piece of the internet folklore itself now, a fictional cautionary tale that feels like it could almost be an urban legend passed around on forums. Hey, have you heard about the hidden webpage that drives people insane? Back in '99, a bunch of kids, and so on. With the analysis of the theories above, one can see the hidden webpage resonates on multiple levels: technological, psychological, and metaphysical.
So as our journey through the hidden webpage comes to an end, we are left with the lingering unease, the kind that makes you double-check that dark corner of your bedroom or hesitate before clicking a dubious link. This story, with its labyrinthian layers of reality and horror, doesn't tie things up with a neat ribbon. Instead, it leaves us much like Nathan in the final line, asking, "Am I still inside?" So the next time you go scoping around the dark web, people, make sure that you're being safe and watching those links you click. But that's going to wrap up our episode for the evening. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. And a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show: Soylent Cleat Feet, Curtis and Laura, Mothman, Laura, Conklin family, and Lou. Your paid support of the show is tremendously helpful, and if you yourself would like to join these amazing people as a paid supporter, there's a link below that will let you choose from several tiers in which you'd like to support us, as well as a one-time link for a donation to the beer fund if that's how you'd like to support us otherwise.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.